Hey, does Angular's new resource API seem pointless or confusing? Why do we even need a new API to retrieve data? In this video, I answer that question, telling the backstory of Signals and the resource API. Once upon a time in Angular land, developers built web apps with ease, defining data and displaying it in the UI. But much of that data for that UI lived in the far-off land of back-end servers. So developers needed a way to request that data. Vehicle data, please. Get notified when that data arrived. Here's the data you requested. And have the UI automatically update to display that retrieved data. With httpClient, developers could request data and immediately receive a request receipt, called an observable. Subscribing to that observable issued the request to the backend server. At some later point in time, the data would arrive from the backend server. httpClient emitted that data into the observable, and any subscriber received that data. But what about updating the UI? We're missing an important character in our story, zone.js. Zone.js embedded itself throughout Angular land. I'll patch some code to intercept and track async operations, such as those from httpClient, it said, and continued, that way I can detect state changes and trigger UI updates. You're welcome. So when httpClient emitted the retrieved data into the observable, Zone.js saw the data was changed and updated the UI. For many years, developers relied on httpClient to retrieve data and Zone.js to detect changes. But as applications grew, Zone.js became a bottleneck. It triggered too many updates, made change detection slower, and bloated the applications. Then one day, things changed. Signals arrived in Angular land. Signals offered a leaner, more reactive way to track data for display in the UI. Signals are synchronous. They always hold a value and notify anyone reading their value, including the UI, when that value changes. That makes them perfect for managing state and ensuring predictable updates to the UI, without the need for Zone.js. Sweet! It didn't take long, however, for developers to discover a problem. Retrieving data with httpClient didn't work naturally with Signals. httpClient used observables and required a subscription to issue the HTTP request, then emitted the retrieved data into the observable. How does that data get into a signal? Developers are a creative bunch and concocted workarounds. Life became more complicated in Angular land. When hope for a better solution was all but lost, in strolled the resource API. I came to help, it said. And help it did. The resource API provided a bridge between asynchronous operations, such as HTTP requests, and the synchronous world of signals. With the resource API, developers could request data from the backend server without a subscription and immediately receive a default value for the signal. When the data was returned, that data was directly set into the resource value signal, and the UI was automatically updated to display that data. Issuing the HTTP request was easy. No subscribing was necessary, and the signal was automatically populated. Plus, the resource could react to changes in other signals and automatically retrieve related data. All was well in Angular land. So, the primary purpose of the resource API is to bridge the gap between asynchronous requests and synchronous signals, effectively retrieving data directly into a signal. Plus, the resource API will cancel a prior HTTP request if a new request immediately follows it. This is especially helpful when a request is based on a user selection and the user changes their mind. Display the bombers. No, wait, the transport vehicles. Notice here that the first request was canceled. This is great for data retrieval, but would potentially lose changes if used with write operations. The resource API is great, but it's important to note that the Angular team does not recommend using the current resource API for writing data to a backend server. This is for two key reasons. The entire purpose of the resource API is to retrieve data into signals. With put, post, and delete operations, you seldom have return data you want to store in a signal. If the user edited and saved data and immediately performed another edit and save operation, the first HTTP request could be canceled when the second request is issued. We saw this in the demo. At the time of this video, the Resource API offers 3 methods. Use the one that best matches how you work with data. Basic. The resource method works with promises. Use this option if you prefer the JavaScript fetch technique for retrieving data. Reactive. rxResource uses observables. It automatically emits the first result from the observable into a signal. This is perfect if you prefer to work with RxJS, or you pipe the result through a set of observable operators, such as map, merge map, or fork join. And pragmatic. httpResource is the easiest and most flexible option. Use its simple syntax to issue an HTTP request specified with a URL and optional parameters, or use its more complex syntax to configure a request object. If you're using signals, the Resource API is the missing piece you've been waiting for. What do you think of the Resource API? Drop a comment below with your thoughts or questions. Thanks for watching. If this video was useful, please like and subscribe.